It's the week after the draft. Everyone's analyzing their rosters, NFL teams and fantasy managers included. Dynasty has rookie drafts going on right now. Best ball season's in full effect, like right here on Fast Draft. And I'm here to give you 8 players that you should be targeting and buying in all formats right here on the Fast Draft channel. I'm going to break this up by giving you 4 rookies and 4 veterans, and I'm going to start off with the rookie right away. Kaleb Johnson is an easy buy right now. Well, you say, Jag, that's crazy. We all loved Kaleb Johnson, but we all had high expectations for him and expected him to be the RB2 in some cases throughout the 2024 season. And then now he went to the same spot that we all thought and we all mocked, the Steelers, but in round 3, and we're all fading him. What are we doing, folks? I get that there's some Arthur Smith backlash. I get that we're concerned about Aaron Rodgers, but I feel like you can explain this away, but you should just pencil in that we know they like to use their running backs, and the only other one there is Jaylen Warren. Now, I'm not discounting Jaylen Warren, and he's going to have a role, but I don't think it's crazy to see that Kaleb Johnson consistently has north of 250 carries and is a bell cow in an offense that, to be honest, having Rodgers back there isn't the worst thing that could happen for the Steelers. Let's hope he's been humbled and got Shedeur Sanders a little bit, and he's willing to play football again and play it at a higher level than he did with the Jets. Like I said, folks, we're looking at touchdowns. I know he doesn't have the receiving profile as most, but if there is a safe landing spot, pencil in Kaleb Johnson at the 109 towards the tail end, and like especially in fast draft where you're drafting him at. Even if you're thinking about our flex 4, he's someone that is easily attainable and draftable right now. Don't overthink it and get Kaleb Johnson on your rosters. I know that I was a big hater of him early on because of that lack of receiving profile and because everyone wanted him in the first round. But now that he's at a reasonable spot, that doesn't mean he sucks. Remember, guys, you never should hate a player, but hate the cost. The more nuance you have in this game, the more nuance you have understanding usage, cost, value, the better at fantasy football you'll be. And that's what I'm trying to do and help you with right now. Next, as promised, I'll give you the vet, Trevor Lawrence. Oh, buddy, I know. He's had a rough start. We can't even count the Urban Meyer years, and Doug Peterson hasn't exactly been exciting. And then we didn't even see the end of what was a decent season for him last year because he had that injury. Yet we saw Mac Jones tear it up with Brian Thomas Jr. Now we get Travis Hunter. Now we get Bech. And more importantly, we get Liam Cohen to come in with an offense that we know is effective and has done a lot for someone like Baker Mayfield. Trevor Lawrence has more natural talent than Baker Mayfield, and that's no disrespect to him, but we know what kind of prospect he is, and we know what he could do for a team if they just have the right things around him, and we finally might see that this year. And any other season, I might say that the price is too high, but right now, Lawrence is in that QB2 range and sometimes low-end QB2 range. More importantly, if you think about in Dynasty, if you're thinking about drafting Cam Ward, if someone has rookie fever, I'm sending that pick for Cam Ward for Trevor Lawrence right now. You know why? He's got 2 wide receivers. He's got Brenton Strange, who's not nothing, and then that backfield is loaded. I don't know what's going on with the backfield, but there's a lot back there and there's a lot of support, and that offensive line has improved. There are a few times where you can get easy entrance points for quarterbacks of Trevor Lawrence's caliber and actually see the payoff to have a top 10 quarterback season, if not top 5, depending on what we see in this roster. Again, think about what Baker Mayfield has done. And if you want more advice like this, if you want to stay on top of redraft, Bestball, and Dynasty all in one place, hit the like and subscribe button. If you want to get in on Fast Draft and see what all the hype is about, you can use my code FAST. You can use code Jagger and we'll give you a $50 deposit match. You don't want to miss out because we have big things ahead coming for you right here on the Fast Draft channel. Next, we have Luther Burden III. Yes, he went to the second round, but at pick 39, and I don't want to say, well, he was almost a first round pick, but he was almost a first round pick. And I think it should even say more about that pick, seeing as Chicago has other needs and they decided that that was the best player available. I know that there's Rome Odunze. I know that there's there's DJ Moore. I know that they drafted Colston Loveland, but I think this pick says more about DJ Moore than all of those other players that I've said. He had a poor year, and I get that there's things like Shane Waldron and other parts of that offense and Matt Eberflus that got in the way. A rookie quarterback, we can explain it away, but I think that the big thing there is Shane Waldron and the fact that DJ Moore just kind of gave up on that team. He quit running routes, had poor body language, and has never been that great of a blocker. I know that Luther Burden isn't someone to be a prime example of wide receiver blocking, but I think he can do all the things that DJ Moore can do, and he's on a discount. And by discount, I mean second round rookie contract. It's tabula rasa, folks. That means clean slate for some of these rosters, like the Jags I mentioned beforehand with Trevor Lawrence. Chicago's in that same spot. They want to make the playoffs. They think they have a playoff roster. They think they have that franchise quarterback. Now they think they have the coach. All they want now is for that coach to have the players that he thinks puts them in the best position to win. If you're getting him on 205 at the rookie drafts, we're getting him 205 in the Origins draft. He's someone I want to make a bet on in best ball everywhere, even in our flex 4 draft. When you have that 6th round pick that you want to take a flyer on with high upside, I think there's few players that you could be more excited for than Luther Burden at such a discount. There's a lot of things that you could try to explain away, but the upside's there, and I'm going to chase the players that a new prize coaching staff brought in with them. Don't overthink Luther Burden. Go get him on your roster because he's virtually free, considering that we thought we were going to take. Next, back to the vets. I didn't have DeAndre Swift's survival on my bingo card, yet here we are. If we're playing the game of let's put players based on past coaching history, you could tell yourself a story that DeAndre Swift could be their Kmart Jahmyr Gibbs. We've already seen production out of DeAndre Swift. We know what he can do, and I think this coaching staff knows what he can do, and they realize they might not be as big of a priority to replace him. He's a good receiving option, even though he may bounce things off on the outside. I'm not saying you need to spend a whole lot for him, but if running back dries up towards the tail of the second round in a lot of my rookie drafts, or if I just don't have any picks and I'm looking to buy something in a package, I'm willing to go out and get DeAndre Swift at cost, because his price right now is basically 50-50 and where you're going to get some of these rookies at anyway. They didn't replace him. There's not much going on in free agency right now. Could they trade for someone? That's certainly an option right now. But if I can get the right price for DeAndre Swift, I'm pretty excited, and I know that he at least can have a pass catching role in the future. If anything, I'm going to buy, and if he does have a good season in Dynasty, I want to flip. And best ball, I just want a few of these shares to have on my roster to see what happens, because right now it's a decent bet. And again, we know what Ben Johnson likes to do with these running backs, and that receiving profile is certainly tantalizing in PPR formats. Back to the rookies. It's Terrance Ferguson to the moon, guys. I know we love Colston Loveland, but I like Terrance Ferguson more than both Mason Taylor and Tyler Warren. I'm not saying that Tyler Warren is a bad player. This has nothing to do with the profile or anything like that. It's about opportunity, and more importantly, what system they're in and who's throwing them the football. Indianapolis has lots of weapons there right now, and they just gave another weapon, but the biggest problem is that they don't have a quarterback that can handle high volume. Anthony Richardson has struggled for 2 years in a row now, and that is both to stay on the field and to be effective while he's on it. And then we've seen the same issues with Daniel Jones. And then who they go out and draft? Riley Leonard. So we have 3 players with similar profiles, and none of them have great arms. It's a little bit concerning of what the upside of Tyler Warren will be in year 1, and especially knowing how great of a blocker he is. Do you want Tyler Warren? Yes. Again, the more nuance, the more you understand caveats in this game, the better that you're going to be. You want Tyler Warren, but maybe his cost is too high as to someone, let's say, like Terrance Ferguson, where you can trade back and get Terrance Ferguson for much cheaper, and he has a clear opportunity to be a top 3 target on his team, if not top 2, depending on what Devontae Adams is on the Rams, because you have Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, and Tyler Higbee. He's had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity and done nothing for this team. Terrance Ferguson is a great blocker. He had one of the best RAS out of all the tight ends and tested well, and he's been effective at all 3 levels of the field at Oregon. I think he's someone who can step in right away and is a dark horse to be the best rookie tight end of the season and have that Sam Laporta type breakout. And he's a type of player that is intriguing for a Sean McVay offense because he's so versatile and you can move him all across the formation, both as a blocker and as a receiver, not unlike they use Puka Nacua. When you have these personnel packages that you can stay versatile with without moving players on and off the field, you don't tip your hand as to what you're doing on an offense. It's the perfect fit and the perfect player, and someone that I'm aggressive on in drafting in all formats. Back to the vets. Justin Fields. I know it, guys. Another year, another buy Justin Fields thing. He was already way cheap with the Steelers. So I don't feel like we really lost in on that investment. And if anything, he gained a lot of value specifically after this draft. We heard rumors that they loved Jackson Dart and wanted to bring him in. Well, they didn't get Jackson Dart, and all they did was just build around him by drafting offensive linemen. They went and got Mason Taylor, who is a quality second target and can work over the middle of the field and free up Garrett Wilson. And then they go and get another target for the outside in Smith. I'm not saying he's going to go out and be a target earner, but they lacked size and speed on the outside. Allen Lazard ain't it, and Arian Smith can come in with a quick 40 and stretch the field and open things up for both Mason Taylor and Garrett Wilson, and then give Justin Fields something down deep. It just opens up this entire offense. This doesn't include what they have in the backfield already. Breece Hall, we were talking about him being the RB1 not too long ago. And then they have Braylon Allen to step in whenever they need to. And then Isaiah Davis has shown to be effective. So regardless of what you think about Breece Hall's position on this team or what Breece Hall's going to do, this brings good things for this entire offense. And most importantly, Justin Fields, who has the most support than he's ever had on a team, even including the Steelers now. And he has a backing. This feels like the year where we're going to see a lot of the passing finally match that rushing upside that we already know for Justin Fields, and he already has a great entry point. I think it's attainable right now if you want Jackson Dart, and if you're going to take Jackson Dart to the tail end of the first and you have a need at quarterback, maybe go out and get Justin Fields, because at least with that rushing floor, you know you're not going to be out for the season, and more importantly, the Jets don't really have anyone else unless there's some type of injury. I'm all in on Justin Fields this year, and he's someone I'm going to keep rostering. Back on the rookie side, we have Jack Bech. I am all in on Jack Bech, guys. I know this is going to sound crazy, but he has a similar profile to Puka Nacua. Now, I'm not saying we should expect him to break rookie records, to come out and demand like a 30% target share, completely make someone like Cooper Kupp irrelevant. But when you think about versatility, size, the ability to play all across the formation, and he's a decent route runner. He had a great reception perception profile, and he tore up the Senior Bowl. Jack Bech looks like the perfect fit for this Chip Kelly offense. You have Jacoby Myers, who can play in the flanker, or he can play in the slot. Then you know what Brock Bowers can do, who's basically another receiver out there. Jack Bech gives this offense even more flexibility. And then you have Ashton Genty in the backfield that defenses have to worry about. This seems like it can be an all open offense, and Pete Carroll has set this team up to succeed. More importantly, Geno Smith isn't nothing, and we've seen what he can do when he has support. So I'm not really concerned about him getting the football. And if you're going towards the early end of the second round, he's someone I'm targeting aggressively. I would even go as far as to say someone that I really liked ahead of this, like Luther Burden. I wouldn't hate it if you took Jack Bech ahead of him, just because you know that there's such a certain role for him. But at the end of the day, he could be the third target if he doesn't develop right away behind Jacoby Myers and behind Brock Bowers. But I think that caveat is already baked into his price. So I'm willing to trade up and make that bet 10 times out of 10. Jack Bech is going to be on a lot of my rosters. He's already on a lot of my rosters already. I know in the Origins Chaos tournament, a lot of the staff I saw, a lot of the player profile crew, a lot of the people I see on the internet are already getting Jack Bech. He's someone you want to get in on now before that ADP creeps up and gets out of hand, and we're going to start talking about him as a sell. If you already have him and he becomes a sell, you've already profited off of him before there's even a snap, or you keep him and then he ends up being a stud. I think he's a very safe bet with a lot of upside and someone I'm going to aggressively target. This is going to sound gross, and this is why I saved it for last, but Aaron Jones is the last buy here. He somehow survived this, and Minnesota continues to prove that they're not willing to spend draft picks on running backs if they like what they have. no matter of age. Moreover, Aaron Jones has been productive, and this offense looks to take that next step. Yeah, we already saw what they could do with Sam Darnold, and they looked great. Now J.J. McCarthy has even more help with Ty Felton, Jordan Addison. We already know what Justin Jefferson and T.J. Hawkinson can do. And Aaron Jones has wide open lanes now and has that receiving profile. There's very few running backs I would say are so cheap right now that you can buy and ride off into the sunset, and I'm willing to go out and roster even knowing that this could be the last year if I'm willing to win a championship, because they're fairly cheap right now, especially in best ball right now. Aaron Jones is an RB1 on a very good offense, or was at least what we think is going to be a very good offense. Right now, I have multiple shares of them that I had on trading blocks and dynasty rosters, and I've pulled them off because they are winning rosters, and I know I can at least flex them from week to week. And again, in best ball, if you're going to take him with one of your last couple of picks, or if you're going to go with the 0 RB build or something, Aaron Jones has that spike weeks ability and the receiving and PPR formats to be an effective roster piece. He's someone who's incredibly cheap right now that, again, helps you win this year. So you're not perpetually paying the rake, or you're perpetually rebuilding, or you're just the guy in your redraft league who gets roasted year in and year out because you keep chasing a lot of these high-end guys and ignoring some of these older dudes that it costs nothing. Again, if you want more content like that, hit the like and subscribe button. We'll have more content coming for you this week. As always, I'm Jagger May. Love you. We'll see you on the next one.
So I thought I needed.